What's up, BC Dynasty? This is your boy, the man, the myth, and the legend, and your boy is back up in this thing. So now, wait a second. Off the rip, I gotta go ahead and apologize to all my family. I apologize to all my supporters, especially my Israelite family. I want to apologize. I do want to apologize. I know it's been a minute. It's been a good little minute. And this is the thing. By the time y'all see this video, I'm gonna have 10 videos slated for every other day. I'm coming in this thing. So, there's a lot of things I got to discuss with you guys. First of all, where's Shawnee D? What's going on? Woo-de-woo. There's nothing going on. We've been birthing babies into the world. I just got to tell you. See, now the last time y'all seen us, probably 6 months ago, I did a video. This is the thing. We had one kid. He was 7 months years old. 7 months years old. He was 7 months, right? So how about now? He's alive. There's a whole nother soul, this girl that just came out of nowhere, and she's pregnant with another girl. Yeah, I know my sperm. Yeah, I got one boy though. I got one boy. Now this is the thing. Well, I ain't stopping there. We gotta have a whole clan, and I gotta get 2 more. I told her. Yeah. So the point is, we've been birthing babies. A lot's been going on. But right now, we're going into this history. And a lot of y'all, for the first time, might be like, man, this dude is animated. What is this dude doing? Where does this dude get? I do this, y'all. I do this every day. I know I look a little mess, y'all. I mean, I try to look a little decent. Now, the suit, this ain't gonna be happening every day. Don't expect it. If you put it in the comments, you're not gonna get this. You know, I'm just gonna have a t-shirt on. But today I decided to do this because I just came back from an interview. And that's another thing. Y'all free us from these jobs. I wanna be able to do this with y'all 24/7. And I know it's my fault, it's consistency. But granted, I make a promise to you guys. Well, a strong assertion. Promise. Yeah, you can say promise. These videos are gonna be dropping every other day. By the time you see this, if you see this video, that means 10 are already slated. Join the movement. I know y'all like, well, what happened to BZ Dynasty? It's Zion Dynasty? This is the thing. Shawnee D saw how much love we got when I did my whole DNA thing. We the Israelites, Yaruba, B'nai Ephraim, the black man, woo woo woo. Ancestry, here it is, right? You guys love that. I love that. I'm talking like this for people that, you know, I know it's some die-hard Israelites that subscribe and love the channel, and I love y'all. But I'm doing this to be a mediator between those that might not know none of this history, right? Y'all been on my journey. You seen me do my African ancestry, and I'm coming back with more of that. I'm going to do a matrigland test as well. But, so what we're doing today, y'all, your boy coming back strong with me, brother. Yaruba, B'nai Ephraim, the tribe of Joseph. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. So, but I consider myself a black Hebrew moderate. Now they got a term for it now. They calling it moderate. I don't know what that means. I guess I'm not on the streets like, the white man is the... Edit that, all of that out. But, so I guess I'm not that. So since I'm kind of intellectual, I go into the DNA, E1B1A, you know, the tribes in Africa, the Igbos oral tradition, and that kind of thing. They consider me a moderate because I try to exploit that. Okay, y'all say the commandments are done away with, but you got Christmas trees up. But if I say we might as well do Hanukkah, that's what Christ celebrated, the Feast of Dedication, right? We might as well live the way he lived. He had a beard. He grew his hair out. He didn't eat pork. Well, you know, we're free because Christ made us free to not do the things he did. I don't know. I ain't trying to ruffle nobody's feathers. I know that might have been offensive. I'm sorry. I really am. So what we're doing today is, I want to kind of just go all in on this stuff, Jack. I got your boy Alan Parr. I know a lot of y'all came here because you've seen this reaction. Y'all might love the brother. And especially to my European people, my white brethren of the human race. I know y'all love him. I know you do. And this is a black Hebrew's perspective of what he's saying. Now, this is my thing. Y'all come for us, call us a hate group. Yeah, they're saying their ethnicity is an Israelite. That's a cult. And ethnicity is a cult? I don't know. It's a matter of fact, if you ask me. Can they prove it? If it's right, it's not a cult, it's history. So, we're going to react to your boy Alan Parr. I'm learning how to use QuickTime Player, y'all. So, I'm going to pull up my new screen recording. Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, your boy ticks up. You have to, oh, yeah. Okay, there we go, guys. So we're in there. Let me go ahead and pull this video so we can react to this, y'all. I know, y'all. I mean, I'm just so excited to be back, y'all. I'm ready to come with these bangers. I'm going over the Spanish Inquisition, the Alhambra Decree of 1492 that expelled the Jews from the Iberian Peninsula, and they went into the north coast of Africa, the Maghreb region. Yeah, I like that, don't you? So I'm going to be doing some history on that Inquisition, which is black history. The transatlantic, which was fueled by King Manuel's decree to go get those Lancados. I'm going to be dealing with that. I'm going to be dealing with the oral tradition of the Igbo going back to Gad and Manasseh. I'm dealing with the Yoruba and that Ephraimite oral tradition and the Ashan of the Ashanti that go back to Judah. I'm going to be dealing with that black history strong me, right? Right, like that. So now first we're going to react to this. Is Christianity the white man's religion? Is Christianity the white man's religion? I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. Absolutely it is, because they did not worship this type of, whether you say it was a different Christianity or whatever. When they brought that over there, our folks was like, this is some nonsense. And they beat it into it. So by default, it is. I'm just playing with y'all. Yeah, that is true. I'm substantiating this. But let's see what your boy Alan Parr has to say about these things. So it's still recording, right? All right. So let me pull this up. Yeah, here we go, y'all. Let's get it. Let's see what the brother has to say.
Is Christianity the white man's religion? Now, before you shut this video off and you ask yourself, what kind of a stupid question is that? I really want to encourage you to watch this video, because if you are at all interested in being what's called missional or on mission for the Lord Jesus Christ, it means that it is critical for you to be able to understand and share your faith with people who may not look like you, who may come from a different background. So it's important, if you come across somebody who is black, who actually believes that Christianity is the white man's religion, they have been brainwashed into believing that. It's critical if you want to be in an...
Okay, y'all. Now I'm going to pause it right there. I got to say this. Brainwashed? See, now, I got a lot of videos planned, so I ain't really trying to. But first of all, did a white Jesus exist in history? So now, if somebody brings you this image of this white dude and tell you, this is the Son of God, that don't exist. That is his religion. That is the white folks' religion. Because historically, we know his name would have been Yeshua. He would have been a black brother. But, I mean, let me just play it, y'all. I mean, I'm opinionated. I'm working on this, y'all. This is a journey. Y'all help me. Okay, let's just play the video.
For Christ that is being used to reach people outside of yourself. You need to know why they believe that, as well as some reasons and some arguments that you can possibly share with this person to help them understand that Christianity is not the white man's religion.
Are we talking about the Council of Nicaea?
In this video, I want to give you three primary reasons why many black people, hopefully no black Christians, and certainly not Alan Parr. Okay, so just be clear. This is not Alan Parr's perspective. I'm merely sharing with you what some of the cult groups are trying to teach.
Cult groups? Whoa. Tell us how you really feel, Alan Parr. How you really feel. Okay, let's deal with that. So anybody that doesn't subscribe to the post-325 AD Council of Nicaea that removed certain books out the Bible, let me educate y'all a bit. I have a Sefer Bible, right? I'm not saying it's flawless. There's some things that I don't agree with it, but I'm kind of a connoisseur of collecting. I got the Cultural Roots Study Bible. I have a Common English Study Bible because it helps me prove David's genealogy and a lot of other things, which I'll do some videos on. But the Sefer Bible gives us an explanation on why these books were removed, and most of it was because they felt there was too much history. It was not enough spiritual morality and teaching and that kind of thing. They didn't want to hear about Alexander the Greek of Macedonia and that kind of thing. So these books were removed at whose whim? I don't know, but they were taken out. And this narrative of Christ being born of a virgin and him being this glowing, I know my voice, y'all, white European sandy brown hair in the midst of Africa. Now check this out. So the dude's white, Christ is white, right? Herod goes to kill the dude and he runs into Africa to hide. So now if I'm looking for somebody and he's white and he goes into Africa and Egypt at the whim of the angel to hide amongst black people. Let me be clear with you guys. There's a difference between the Christianity of today, modern Christianity, and the Christianity 2,000 years ago. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Christ would have been a woolly-haired, Revelation 1, Daniel 7, hair like the pure wool, arms and feet the color of brass as if it burned in the furnace. Oh, wow, he sounds like a Negro. So when we say Christianity is the white man's religion, we're not bashing the Bible. We're bashing this stuff we seeing on TV and Passion of the Christ. That stuff is not historically astute. It's not biblically accurate. It don't exist, y'all. It's as fairy tale as the Tooth Fairy, but let me continue. I ain't gonna be ranting like this throughout, but I gotta keep it short.
Our black brothers and sisters about Christianity. I'm gonna give you 3 of their main arguments. So once again, the reason why this video is critical is because there are cult groups like the Hebrew Israelites and all.
What? We're a cult group. Now that's why I had this video up. Y'all was looking for that brother video for the long. Okay, cult group. All right, y'all been with me on this journey now. You've been with me with the African ancestry. I did my African ancestry. My paternal lineage went back to the Yoruba people of Nigeria. Their oral tradition is that they're a group of Iberian Jews, Beni Ephraim, that migrated from Maghreb, which is northern Africa, you know, Morocco, Algeria, Libya. And that before that, they were in the Iberian Peninsula during the time of the Inquisition, and then King Ferdinand and all them banished. So let me just deal with this. How is somebody a cult, or in a cult, or this is a cult, for saying what somebody's ethnicity is? So because I say I'm an Israelite, that's a cult? That's a matter of, is this your ethnicity or not? They make it like it's some separate religion. No, this is not a religion. This is a lineage. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. This is not about any practices, about the commandments and us growing our beards out and Shabbat Shalom and that kind of thing. And so, to my Israelite brothers that tune in, I love y'all. I got so much support from Israel, it's unreal. I already know y'all know this stuff, but I'm trying to speak in a quote-unquote moderate way for these people to exploit. What are you saying? Right? And these same Christians, check this out, say they love Christ, who was a black Jew Hebrew himself, but you oppress his people? Really? And you call them a cult for defending their ethnicity? All right, a cult? What? I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to do that.
Islam and a host of other groups that are trying to brainwash young black people to believing that they need to leave Christianity because...
Let me give you this. Their brains do need to be washed of that European slight that has been fed to them for these hundreds of years. You are correct, Alan.
White man's religion. So here are the top 3 reasons, once again, none of them actually having any real validity whatsoever. Reason number 1 is due to the mistreatment of African people by white slave owners. So the concept of Christianity being the white man's religion emerged primarily...
Black people are not saying Christianity is a white man's religion just because how we was beat upside our head. We believe that proves we're Israel because of Deuteronomy 28. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, do your research. When you look at the Crusades, when you look at the birth of Constantine and what he was trying to do, how he saw the cross in the sky, and that he was using Christianity like the Tower of Babel as this one world religion. Do your history. That was the purpose of Christianity. And these same Christians turned around in the Inquisition and oppressed the Jewish people, the Hebrew people, the Israelite people, my folks, right? So Christianity was anti-Negro, or anti-Black Portuguese, or anti-Yaya Negro, or anti-Black man, or Israelite, or Jew. That was the reason Christianity was formed. We're not talking about the Ethiopians that had Christianity 1,000 or so years before Roman Catholicism. We're talking about what Christians celebrate today, which is not linked to the biblical, Lord, are you going to establish the kingdom for Israel? It's a whole different... I'm sorry, I know I keep apologizing, but...
Of the slavery days, which was a time period in my country, the United States, which basically was around 1619 or so, all the way through 1865. It was a dark time in our country, and I would say that whether you're white, black, Asian, or whoever, you would agree that this was a dark period in our history, but it is in our history nonetheless. Now, sadly, during this time, you had a lot of white Christian slave owners that actually tried to use the Bible to justify not only owning slaves, but mistreating slaves as well. Some of the verses would be verses like Ephesians 6:5, which says, "Slaves, obey your human masters with fear and trembling, in the sincerity of your heart, as you would Christ." And then looking at other verses that they would rip completely out of context and misappropriate, perfect example being Exodus chapter 21. And it says this, "When a man strikes his slave, male or female, with a rod, and the slave dies under his hand, he shall be avenged," meaning the slave shall be avenged. "But if the slave survives a day or two, he is not to be avenged, for the slave is his money. So on the surface, we're not going to get into the interpretation of this verse, but on the surface, it sounds like, okay, if you kill your slave, then you know what, you should be punished. But if you just beat him to the point of death, then as long as he recovers, you'll be okay. So they would use these types of scriptures to justify slavery. Now, conveniently, many of these same white Christian slave owners would lead Americans to believe that Christianity is the white man's religion. Once again, none of these have any validity to them.
None of them?
It is the fact that they believe that Christianity paints the picture of a whitewashed Jesus. Now, I'm just going to say...
I'm going to let you say too, brother. Anybody that defends the fact that Christ, the historical Yeshua, his mama didn't call him Jesus, y'all. I'm sorry. The letter J did not come into existence until the 1500s. I'm sorry if no one told you that. Yeshua, anybody that says Christ, Yeshua, was a European with sandy brown hair that was walking, he who follows me. This did not exist. It didn't. It didn't, y'all. I'm sorry. It was hot out there in Israel. Like, check this out. And this is the craziest thing. Israel is on the same tectonic plate as the continent of Africa. So in actuality, right, Israel could be called Northeast Africa. But yet, you talking about 2,000 years ago, Christ, Yeshua, would have looked like what now? I'm going to continue. I'm sorry. That's just...
Straight up, for me, I don't care what color Jesus was. I don't care.
And that's the thing that gets me. See, these same Christians that say that he that worships me, let him worship me in spirit and in truth, and the truth shall set you free, and Satan is the father of lies, who was a liar from the beginning. These same Christians that adhere to being honest and telling the truth, and that the historical narrative should be followed, and all this woot-de-woot, when it comes to what Christ looked like, even though it could liberate these same black people that are suffering around the world, that are being shot down on the streets, unarmed, that maybe if they saw the historical accuracy of Yeshua, that he looked just like them, and that perhaps if you do your DNA, you descend from the people in Africa that descend from the land of Israel. You don't think that would help them? But you say you love everybody. This is the problem I have with Christians. They love truth, and to truth actually causes them to have to stand up for somebody, i.e. black people. And the world is so fine with us being oppressed, and that narrative of us not having no history and we ain't contribute nothing to society. We just poofed in West Africa. Niggas just showed up. We don't know where these niggas came from. They just showed up. But then you know that Christ historically was a black man. That he was persecuted and killed for a crime he didn't commit with his hands up with his mama watching. And that his people fled throughout history into Africa. He himself fled into Africa. Joseph went into Egypt during the time of the famine, right? And that historically, after the Inquisition, a lot of those Israelites went into North Africa. Some of them went to Cape Verde. Some of them went to Sao Tome and were sent there by the Portuguese. And that Africa is full of this people. But you're saying that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Christ looked like. So that ain't that the spirit of the Antichrist? Don't the Bible say that he that said that Christ didn't come in the flesh, that's the spirit of the Antichrist? Well, we didn't say he didn't come. We just don't know how he came. A little bit disingenuous if you ask me. But let's continue.
White, I don't care if he was black. I don't care if he was brown. Like, it doesn't matter to me. His blood was red. He shed his blood on the...
Well, let me tell you something, Alan Parr. A dog's blood is red. But there is a big difference between a dog and a human being. Well, you know, some people think they can use their veins for, open heart surgery. But that's a whole nother thing. Let's continue. I'm sorry.
For me, but that's just me, right? But for others who really, really need to believe that Jesus was one color or the other, this is a big issue. Now, the idea that Jesus was a white man was further popularized by a guy by the name of Warner Salmon, who in 1940 painted this picture of Jesus, which portrayed Jesus as being a white man who had blonde hair and blue eyes. And this probably was one of the paintings that you may have had hanging up in your house growing up. It was so...
No, every big mom, their grandparents, if they didn't, their parents or their grandmother had that white man up there, next to John F. Kennedy and Daggum Dr. King. But let's continue.
Popular that it even made its way into black Baptist churches as well. Go figure that out. So what's some of the...
Yeah, slavery told him that he was white. I'm sorry, y'all. I hope that's not offensive to y'all. I'm trying not to be offensive. I'm trying to be on my best behavior.
Of Christianity will say, who are trying to convince people that Christianity is the white man's religion, is that, hey, if Jesus is white and you can't really trust white people, well then therefore you can't trust Jesus either. Or on the
Whoa, wait a second, brother. See, now that was just the far reach. He was just reaching, grabbing for the sky with that one. Wait a second. Our problem is not that Christ, if he was white or if he was black, it's a matter of truth, Alan Park. It's a matter of truth. Black people have shown that we have no problem worshiping God in Christ if he's the image of if he's a white person. I worshiped him my whole life, thought he was white, right? But white folks, on the other hand, have an issue with bowing down and kissing the feet of a nigga. That's the truth. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but I'm on this channel. I'm just trying to spit facts, right? Our people don't have that kind of issue. But if you see these same people that are being oppressed, that are still at the bottom of every socioeconomic metric there is, but you're going to hide the fact that they have such an illustrious history, even going back to the Lord and Savior, the Son of the Most High, Yah, you have the problem. White folks have the problem. Black folks don't. We just want to know the truth. And if that's our history, you owe it to us to give us back what is rightfully ours. Now, the Most High gonna wake us up regardless, but you owe it as a God-fearing person, as a believer in the scriptures, to tell the truth. So help you the Most High, Yah. Right? Let's continue. I just don't understand.
But if we can make Jesus black,
make him,
and say that Jesus identifies with those who are marginalized.
Maybe
Jesus identifies with those who are oppressed, and so therefore you can trust him. Do you see the ridiculous fallacy in that type of thinking? The reality is that Jesus died on the cross regardless of what color he is, and he experienced excruciating, humiliating pain on our behalf. So
this is my thing, y'all. If Christ was black, crucified for a crime that he didn't commit, with his mother watching, in captivity and subordination to the Roman Empire during that time in history, yes, black people will be able to more identify with that. What's wrong with that? We're not saying that if he wasn't, the Jews we know historically were oppressed regardless. You know, you see, I'm trying to speak in a way for Christians that might not know that Christ did not look like Caesar Borgia. I'm sorry.
What color he is able to identify with those who have been oppressed, those who have been mistreated, and those who have been humiliated, once again, regardless of what color he is. Now, with all that being said, I think that it is important, if we're ever going to sketch a picture of Jesus, which I don't quite understand why people do that anymore, because at the end of the day, we don't know what color he is. But I think...
What? So now let me get this straight. Nobody knew what this man looked like? Even though the scriptures tell you that over 500 people witnessed this man rise from the grave. That's the whole premise of the New Testament, is the eyewitnesses that handled the flesh of the living word of the Most High. But nobody knew what he looked like. So Daniel didn't know what he looked like in Daniel chapter 7. Revelation chapter 1, verse 14 through 15. Oh, it's metaphorical. It's not concrete. All the Russian icons that portray him, I'm talking about 13th, 14th, 15th century, that showed him as a black man with woolly hair. All of that, none of that happened, right? None of that didn't happen. You see the hypocrisy? When it comes to black history, the world is in cahoots to keep black people from coming to their history. I'm sorry. Just the truth. Let's continue. Let's see what else you got to say.
Do our best to portray Jesus in the most accurate light, considering that he was from the Middle East and he was a Jew. Now, reason number 3 is another very strong one that people will use to claim that Christianity is the white man's religion, and that is the fact that the church seemed to be apathetic towards the oppression of African Americans.
Seem to be. You have the Christian church during the time of the Inquisition burning niggas at the doors of the church. This is fact. This is not conjecture. This happened. The Inquisition, they considered Jews to be rebels and outsiders. You know, during the time of the Inquisition, you had the Moors and the Jews of Spain. The Christian church saw them as less than wretched. I mean, at one point, they were paying people over 100 days worth of indulgences to kill a Jew. I'm going to list the sources, y'all. This is the purpose of this, to be able to go through this information. Because this is the dark history of the Christian church. This is the dark history of Europeans and white America and these European countries, of what they've done to God's people. Now, black people waking up saying, wait, the Igbo say they Jews. The Yoruba say they Jews. The Ashanti, the Bantus, the Fang people, the Bono people, all these people saying that they Jews, and they from not just the Beta Israel of Ethiopia, not just the Lemba tribe, but they're able to prove the Kohen-Modo haplotype group. They're able to show this stuff through their oral traditions. The old books in the 1800s showing the same thing. Now we have a problem. White folks quivering in their boots, Because we've been oppressing these people for 400 years, just like Genesis 15 said, and said, oh, well, that was fulfilled in Exodus. Oh, no. They weren't in Exodus no more than 350 years if you do your research. Josephus knew that. If you go back to the Greek Septuagint, there's no way they could have been in slavery that long. At best, it was probably 100 years of slavery. I understand that thing, right? Now, in terms of their whole sojourn, that might have been at most 350 years. But it was not the fulfillment of that 400. Now, that's a whole nother video, y'all, because y'all trying to catch me slipping. I had to do a whole nother video on it if y'all want to. So that has not been fulfilled. That they were in a nation where they were oppressed for 400 years, as swift as the eagle flew over there to Africa to bring us over here, and in want for all things, right? It's so many scriptures, y'all, about us being the people. But instead of the church being honest, they doing this kind of stuff. This damage control. That's all it is.
Let me explain. So not only did it seem on the surface that the church was complicit or at the very least apathetic during the slavery days, but then following slavery, we had this period called the Jim Crow time, where black people were not permitted to vote. They were not able to sit at certain places on the bus. In order to hopefully convince somebody that it is not the white man's religion, that Jesus Christ came to die for all, and Christianity is a religion for all people, no matter race or color. So the first thing that you're going to want to help get this person to understand is the fallacy in painting a broad brush. So in other words, help them understand that you never want to characterize...
It wasn't all white people, but it was 99.9%. We get it, Alan. We get it.
Any sort of church or organization or company or religion by the worst people in that particular group. If that was the case, then there wouldn't be a company, there wouldn't be a church, there wouldn't be an organization, there wouldn't be a religion in the world that you would say is good, because if you judged every one of those groups by the people that are the worst in it, then you're always going to come to the conclusion that that particular group is evil. So you have to help them understand that it is wrong to take a few people throughout the history of Christianity, a small subset of Christians, and say because these people...
A small subset? Some stuff you don't even... I'm just continuing.
Evil in nature, then that means that the whole religion in and of itself has got to be evil as well. Now, another thing that you're going to want to do is help them understand...
Y'all going to have to research the Council of Nicaea. I'm going to drop a video, but I'm going to tell you. Christianity as we know it was formed to take away the Hebrew movement that was going on during the time of Christ and the apostles, and to allow the Roman Empire to utilize elements of it to be able to conquer the earth. The Bible was never intended for that, y'all. I'm just telling you. The scriptures was always a cultural narrative for a people and their deliverance. The laws, the statutes, the commandments, the prophets, the New Testament, Christ even historically said, I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, this is a historical context. I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So we have a true divorce or a divide between the historicity of the Bible and what it was intended to be as a cultural safeguard for a people, and this universal one-world order Roman Catholicism of today with Easter bunnies laying eggs, which I've never seen a bunny lay an egg. I've never seen, well, I have seen Christmas trees. Let me put that on the screen, Jeremiah chapter 10. Y'all read that. See, a lot of these things that the Christian church is paganism mixed with white supremacy and elements of Hebrewism. That's really what it is. I'm sorry, I just had to tell the truth, y'all. Good grief.
The history and the contributions of African people to Christianity. Why is this important? Because for many black people, they need what's called representation. In other words, they need to be able to see that someone like them has contributed positively in this particular organization. And so if that is the case, then maybe it's not that bad. They also need...
Yes, our people contributed. We wrote the whole Bible. The prophets, Moses, all of them was Negroes. And that's our heritage. That's right. I'm sorry, y'all. Good grief.
And that Christianity extended far back, much further back than slavery. It didn't start...
Yeah, and the Christianity of Paul and the apostles was not Christmas trees. They were celebrating Pesach, or Passover. They were celebrating the holy days. Paul and them kept all these statutes. It's crazy how they say Paul came and said neither Jew nor Gentile, which I can explain that whole Galatians 3:28, Romans 2:29 misconception, right? But The early church, they were Hebrew Israelites keeping the commandments in the faith of Yeshua. Like in Revelation it says.
First Christians didn't start during slavery times. Christianity existed far beyond that. So we want to help them understand that many of the most famous church fathers who contributed recognize the widest possible difference. So wide that to receive the one as good, pure, and holy is of necessity to reject the other as bad, corrupt, and wicked. To be the friend of the one is of necessity to be the enemy of the other. I love the pure, peaceable, and impartial Christianity of Christ. I therefore hate the corrupt, slave-holding, woman-whipping, cradle-plundering, partial, and hypocritical Christianity of this land. Indeed, I can see no reason but the most deceitful one for calling the religion of this land Christianity. I look upon it as the climax of all.
Let me pause right there, y'all. Absolutely. And I do want to agree with what the quote that he had from Frederick Douglass. Basically what Frederick Douglass is saying that you're idiotic to call the religion of this land Christianity in terms of what existed prior to the white man getting hold of that book. I agree with that. No Hebrew Israelite is against the scriptures. No Hebrew Israelite is against the scriptures. We are for the scriptures and the historicity of the text. We are for the historical Yeshua, the black Hebrew. We are for that. So y'all, with that, I hope y'all enjoyed the reaction. I hope it wasn't too long. I am going to address a lot of those points in other videos and other historical pieces of information that I put out on the channel, y'all. If y'all love this, if y'all have some videos of some Christians putting their foot in their throat, just put it in the comments below. Just keep me posted. I hope y'all like this style. I hope I'm not too muchy, you know, but I just try to be as animated with it as I can, guys, because I'm really passionate about this history and us knowing who we are from a historical perspective and that kind of thing. I feel like the Christian church is live for too long, and a lot of millennials in particular are leaving the black church because a lot of these answers are not adding up. Like, who are the people? Why are black people suffering? Wait, it was Hebrews in Africa. Why is this history not being talked about? Why do we celebrate Christmas and a lot of this stuff? You know, what happened to the heritage of black people? A lot of this stuff. Because you have to go into a dark chapter of American and global history and the atrocity that has been done to the Jewish people throughout the test of time, right? And a lot of people, instead of dealing with that, want to kind of play it safe and not really have to go down that rabbit hole. But now, y'all, it's time for us to bring this stuff out, and that's what I plan on doing, y'all. I hope y'all love the video. Y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, give me some feedback. Let me know where I'm not doing the best job at, you know, explaining things, or if you want me to kind of go in a little bit more detail on something. But with that, y'all, this is your boy JB Zion on the track. I love y'all, and put up peace.